Hello, and welcome to the Thyroid Warrior podcast. I'm Ebony, and I'm here as your wellness facilitator. I'm going to be sharing my experiences in managing Hashimoto's disease. I really hope that it'll help you on your personal journey. Keep in mind, however, this does not substitute for medical advice. It is only for your information and motivational purposes only. Now, let's get started. Hello, friends. This episode is very important to me because we need to talk about the real deal, and that is burnout. So I know in the past, on past episodes, I have spoken about stress and how it can really impact our bodies, but I need to be honest and tell you that since working from home, since doing a lot of work to get this hospital in Florida ready to go and managing business things, podcast things, life things, family things, all the things, it's been a lot. I would be lying to you if I sat here and said that I'm not tired. I would be lying. So instead, I want to be able to talk to you about some of the things that I've been going through. And one, I want to tell you that you're not alone, you're not crazy. And I want to share with you this very important part right out the gate that my therapist told me. And it shook me to my core because I grew up thinking that I had to fix it and that I was the main source of the problem for many, many years. And he said to me, Ebony, what would that feel like to you if for a moment you recognize and realize that it wasn't you and that not everything is your fault? And it's really hard to render me speechless, but I was shooketh. Not shook, not disturbed, not perplexed. I was shooketh. Yes, I said that on purpose. But hearing something like that, particularly since, again, all my life I've always felt like it was my fault, or in past relationships, everything was blamed on me. And in some current relationships, I feel that way. So that in and of itself helped me to release some of the load and the burden that I find myself carrying on a regular basis. So that's the first tip I want to give you. Not everything is your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. You don't always have to fix things, and you don't always have to solve everyone else's problems. Yes, that was a purposeful and mindful pause because it it's so difficult, especially when you're high achieving, especially when you love hard, especially when you have a nurturing personality. It's very difficult to feel like you can't fix it. But I have to tell you, you can't. And I've been learning that throughout this time period. And the only person that you really and truly do have control over is yourself and how you respond to things. And that stung for me as well because you read about this, right? And you never think that, oh yeah, that doesn't really apply to me today because I need to get this done, or I need to help this person, or I need to take in this person, or maybe I didn't communicate X correctly, or maybe I didn't say Y the right way, and that's why they're upset with me. But no, sometimes it's not about you. Nope, nope. So process through that. If you're like me and you see a therapist, if you haven't already started having these types of conversations, I really encourage you to, because it really has been life-changing for me to have that small statement said to me. Now, burnout. what are some of the signs of it? And it's when you get to that state where you have stress, and it's not like it's, oh, it comes and it goes, or that you stress. It's like all the time. It's like having a chronic illness. It's kind of always there. You start to have that exhaustion. It's like nothing that you do makes it any better. And you know this very well because you have a thyroid disease. So you know the exhaustion that I'm talking about already. That's just right out the gate. Now, couple that with the the stress and physical exhaustion of burnout, and then things get real and really complicated. And then because you're constantly tired, naturally you're going to feel like you're not getting enough done, you're not meeting those same deadlines, you can't keep up. And Lord knows with COVID and you're constantly bombarded with images on social media about how a lot of people are doing all these things and you're like, I can't even get out the bed, girlfriend. How? How? I would like to know how. Because a lie detector test said this is all BS. And in some cases it is. I will be very honest with you. But that feeling of inadequacy or a lack of I'm not doing enough only adds to the problem. And once you get to the point where you have that physical and just emotional, just you're just completely and totally drained, you really won't be very effective at getting things done because you're consumed with it. And a lot of times the burnout really and truly does creep up on you. Like it's you can only carry things for so long until bam, you can't even get out of bed. So here are some things to look out for. And I've experienced all of them. I'm kind of sort of in that space right now. And I don't want you to get to where I am now. Or if you are where I am now, hugs. Let's get through this and let's resolve it. So think about it. One, you already know that you have issues with fatigue. Now, multiply that times like two or three because your normal level of fatigue may be someone's exhaustion. So you really and truly have to know thyself in this case. And you know when you've gotten to that point where you're just like, no, I just can't do it. It's hard to get out of bed in the morning. And you don't even want to think about what you have to deal with or what you have to manage. Then you're exhausted, you're tired, you don't want to do anything. Oh, but by the way, you have insomnia. Again, you get what I'm putting down here because many of these symptoms are said symptoms of having a thyroid condition. So for many of us, we might be like, oh, my thyroid's just acting up. La 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 la. Move on. You ignore the signs and symptoms, but you're only making it worse. Oh, wait, by the way, here's something else to consider. Forgetfulness. Forgetfulness. Yep. Not to mention shortness of breath, GI issues, you're getting dizzy all over again, those headaches, and you get sick more and more and more. Oh, by the way, that anxiety that you're probably feeling right now, burnout, and also not really wanting to eat anything, burnout, depression, anger, all the things. Yeah, so as you can see, just that small list, which really isn't small when you really think about it, all of those things are symptoms of burnout. So it's hard too because for me personally, I haven't felt joyful, if I'm being very honest, which is really funny because that is my handle on all of my social media accounts. And I have felt detached from a lot of things, and I haven't been as productive as I've wanted to be. And because I have experienced all of these things, I knew right away that it was time for me to get back into therapy, which is why I made sure that I did that. And it was especially helpful when we had so much going on with social injustice. And I myself was experiencing a lot of those things in the workplace and as well as in the world in general. And it was just hard. So at that point, when you're already working 10, 12 hours trying to catch up, trying to keep up with the demands, trying to satisfy people that want every ounce of you, you don't really know what else to do. And you become blank almost. And I looked at some of the comments in my annual review this year, and they were very hard to process because, as I said in the beginning of this episode, sometimes it's not you. And when you're going through so much, and you guys already know what I've been going through just personally over the last 2 years, and really in the last year, especially dealing with things with my dad and my own personal health. And I really, especially today, just wanted to say enough already. Like, God, can I get a break? I really just need to sit down, be still, and not think or feel like the world is out to get me. This is a very hard place to be in. So, the real background or basis behind why I wanted to do this series is because so many people right now are going through this. So many people are suffering. So many people are overwhelmed. A lot of people have COVID. Family members are sick. You're trying to do all the things. There's no separation between you, your family, your work, your responsibilities. There's no separation. You're literally living in a bubble with all of the things that you may have separation from in terms of being able to get up and go to work every day. Or if you're a work at home mom, you have a set list or agenda of what you want to get done. But because everyone is functioning in the same place, that's hard. And I get it. The purpose of this episode was to lay the foundation. And honestly, I wanted to open Pandora's box. I wanted you to start looking inward and thinking about writing those things down, processing through how are you doing? What have you been experiencing lately? Because it's important. And I cannot tell you how many days I've sat in the bed and thought, I don't want to get up. I don't want to do this. I've literally cried walking into the next room to work. I just didn't want to. And in the back of my mind, it's like, Ebony, you know you need to get up. You know you need a job. You know you need to pay your bills. You know you need to do all these things. But I lost it. I just lost it. And I want to let you know that you're not alone. It's not you. You're not crazy. I know for many of us, we have often felt gaslighted in many, many circumstances and in many situations. And it can be very difficult when you have someone or people telling you, oh, you've changed. What's going on with you? What's wrong with you? Again, that's frustrating. So I want you to take some time over the next week to sit down and really and truly check in with yourself. What are you feeling? What are some of the symptoms that you've been experiencing? Are you tired, fatigued? Is that brain fog real? Is it back? Are you more exhausted than what's typical for you? Start writing these things down. Start thinking about it, because we hide these things way too much, and I'm kind of over it. And again, you guys are the ones that I'm very, very open with in terms of what's really going on with me. And I feel safe and comfortable enough to be able to have this conversation with you. So I just want you to take some time and check in. Ultimately, that is the point of this episode, besides opening up Pandora's box and getting you thinking about all of this. If you are not seeing someone in terms of a therapist or a mental health professional, I highly, highly encourage it, because there is something special about being able to get the feelings out and talk about how you're really feeling. And I will be very honest, I posted on Instagram today about wanting to flip a table and thinking, nope, that's probably not a good idea. One, because I don't want to be perceived as an angry black woman, and two, I don't want to clean it up. I just don't. That's a big reason why I'm not a violent person, and I'm not like someone that throws stuff, because I don't want to clean it up. I just don't. Those are not my choices. But on a very serious note, please, 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 whatever you do, I beg of you, don't hold this in. Yes, it's important to be mentally strong, but you guys know, I always say you cannot be someone else's something if you're nothing for yourself. And I want to be able to nurture you and take care of you by sometimes giving you that tough love to say, you know what, you got to face this. You have to. Your well-being depends on it. So in the next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to start talking through, how do you get through the burnout? Like once you've identified what the symptoms are, next we're going to talk about getting through it. So with that, be happy, be whole, and be well. Take care.
Okay, thyroid warriors, get out there and take things one step at a time. Remember, be great, reflect on your triumphs, and as always, be well. Take care.